Good morning, guys. This is Katie from the YMCA Allard Center. I am here to bring you a nice gentle yoga stretch practice today. I know you're used to me bringing you the fire, but today we're going to back it off just a little bit and do something, again, nice and mellow. The holidays are obviously a really fun and exciting time, but they can also be a little bit busy and a little bit stressful. So I hope you can find about 30-40 minutes to join me through this practice and again just unwind a little bit and relieve some stress. All you need for today's practice is a mat, and even that is optional as long as you have a surface with a little bit of cushion and a little bit of traction to work off of. All right, so we're going to start on our mat in our standing position. I want you to set your feet up at hips width apart. Relax your shoulders down out of your ears and open your chest. And just take a moment to softly close your eyes here. I want you to connect with your breath a little bit here, pulling breaths in through your nose, letting your belly soften and expand. And then exhaling, drawing your navel back towards your spine and pressing that breath out. As you continue to breathe here, start to think about alignment, checking in with your body and just seeing how all of its parts feel today. Notice if any areas feel a little tense, tight, or uncomfortable. And see if you can release into those spaces a little bit. And just by focusing on them and continuing to breathe deeply. We'll anchor our feet down into the ground, feeling a nice equal pressure all the way from toes back to heels. Knees are just a little bit soft. Shoulders are relaxing down away from the ears. Imagine that you're stretching your fingertips down towards the floor past your hips. Gently press the top of your head up towards the ceiling. Draw that length out of your spine and out of the sides of your waist. Again, just be and breathe here. Taking this time for yourself. We'll continue to focus on our bodies and our breath as we move through our practice today. You can start to open your eyes here, coming back to your space in the room. Begin with some nice gentle movements. I'd like you to take a deep breath in. Fan your arms all the way up towards the sky. Like you're taking a nice big stretch, waking up first thing in the morning. Arms release on that exhale. Good, we're inhaling, fanning up. And we're exhaling, releasing the arms. Same big circle on the way back. Let's do one more like that. Nice big deep breath in. Biggest circle yet, big stretch. And then exhale, arms release. We're going to build onto this movement. I want you to inhale and fan all the way up. At the top here, we're going to interlace our hands. Make a little steeple with those index fingers. Imagine that you're squeezing your elbows in towards the side of your head. As you exhale, I want you to gently side bend towards the right side of your mat. Continue to draw your navel back towards your spine. Tuck your tailbone forwards very gently, just to make sure that you're not excessively arching or rounding forwards in this position, but really just trying to move laterally. Good. Breathe deeply into that left side of your ribcage. Try to spin that bottom shoulder forwards to keep yourself nice and open. We'll take just one more breath here. As you inhale, lift back to center. And then we're going to exhale and release the arms. We're going to do that on the other side, taking a nice deep breath in. Arms fan all the way up. I want you to find that interlace through your hands, point those index fingers, and then go ahead and just move into a gentle side bend from this position. Again, hug those arms right next to your ears. Keep grounding through your feet. Keep that great alignment through your low back. Make sure you're not arching or starting to round forwards. Let's take one more breath here. Inhaling the center. And exhaling, releasing the arms. Let's continue to build off of this fan. We're going to inhale. Arms reach up. This time as you exhale, I want you to fold about halfway forwards. Palms are going to connect right to the tops of the thighs. I just want you to start to move a little bit here, doing some nice bicycle action through the legs, pushing one knee forwards and the other hip back, all while keeping your spine nice and long, reaching back for your tailbone and forwards through the top of your head. Again, feels good, right? Just moving nice and gently here, maybe deepening those knee bends. Reaching back further through the hips as you get a little bit warmer. If you are close to the back edge of your mat, like I am, I'm going to recommend just to take a few steps forwards, because we're going to start to work right out of this nice little flow and into a high lunge. So I want you to go ahead and firmly anchor your feet down onto the mat. I want you to stack both of your hands right on top of that right thigh. Take a big step back on your inhale with that left leg, toes anchored to the floor, and then we're extending, reaching fingertips up towards the sky. Try to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Elbows are just a little bit soft in this position. Torso is nice and square to that front edge of your mat. We're feeling a nice equal engagement between both the front and the back leg. Make sure that you're not sinking so low into your high lunge that that front knee goes beyond the line of your toes. Just building a little bit of warmth in the legs here so that we can get a little deeper into our stretches as we go through our practice. Let's take one more breath here. Take a nice deep inhale, gently look up towards the sky, open your chest. And then as you exhale, go ahead and step forwards. Feet come back to hips width apart. We're going to inhale and fan the arms all the way up. I want you to go ahead and exhale, fold forwards for me one more time. Palms are going to stack right on the tops of the thighs. We're going to come back to that nice little bicycle action through the hips, through the legs. Again, maybe now that we're getting a little warmer, we're going just a little deeper. And check in here, make sure that your spine is staying long and that your breath is still natural. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and bring those knees back to center, keeping them nice and soft. We're going to stack both hands on top of that left thigh. I want you to go ahead on your deep breath in. We're going to step back with that right foot. Toes plant on the mat. Fingertips extend towards the sky. Again, we don't need to do a really deep, high lunge here. You just want to start to warm the legs a little more. Again, think just as much about your core engagement here as you are about your lower body engagement. Press your feet down into the mat and apart from one another. Again, soften your shoulders just a little. Try not to create any more tension in those spaces than you need to. I'll take 2 more breaths here. Take a nice deep inhale, gaze towards the sky, open your chest, and then go ahead and exhale. Step forwards. Feet come back to hips width apart. We're going to inhale and fan the arms up. I want you to go ahead and exhale, fold it forwards. We're coming back to that half fold. Palms stacked right on the tops of the thighs. Slightly different movement this time. We're going to keep our knees unlocked, but legs are going to stay in about the same position as we work through a variation of our cat and cow. So as you inhale, I want you to imagine that a string is pulling your navel down towards the floor, creating a nice lengthening through your abdominals, through the front side of your body. Good. As you exhale, I want you to round it out. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Curl that tailbone forwards and open up the back side of the body. We're going to inhale And move into that cow pose. Again, arching, lengthening front side. And then we're exhaling, rounding out into that cat. Good. Try to move the entire length of your spine here, all the way from the very top of your head, back through your tailbone. Good. I like to adjust my leg position just a little bit as I flow with these movements. You'll notice that I'm straightening my legs just a little bit more as I come into that cat pose, and I'm bending my knees just a little more deeply as I move into that cow. Again, do what feels good for you here. If you want to take an extra breath or two in any of the movements, you're certainly more than welcome to do that. We're going to take just a couple more breaths here. Make your way back to that center position. We're once again going to stack hands on the right thigh. Spine is nice and long here. I want you to go ahead and take a big step back with your left foot. We're going to move into a warrior two here. So I want you to spin that back foot out so that your feet are perpendicular to one another here. Imagine you could draw a nice long L. We're going to go ahead and sink down into that warrior two, arms extended. Nice and long and strong. Again, shoulders drop down out of the ears. And we're only sinking as much as we need to start to feel the legs fire up. Again, make sure, just as we did for our high lunge, that you're not going so deep into this move that that front knee is going beyond the line of your toes. I also want you to think about gently pressing into the outside edge of your front foot so that your knee is staying in alignment over your ankle and not pushing in towards the midline of your body. Send your gaze right down over the middle finger of that front extending arm. We'll hold here for a couple more breaths. Taking a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, I want you to take a big step forwards. Feet come back to hips width apart at the front edge of your mat. Take a nice deep breath in, arms fan. We're going to do that on the other side. Exhale, fold it forwards. Once again, half fold. Palms stack right on the tops of the legs. So we'll come back to our cat-cow again here. Inhaling to push the belly down towards the floor. Again, try to arch, tip your head back. Curl your tailbone towards the sky. And then exhale, round it out. Tuck that tailbone forwards. Pull your chin towards your chest. Good. Open up that space between your shoulder blades. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Again, feel free to modify these movements if you'd like. Feel free to go a little slower with your pace. Again, remember, this is your practice. Always honor your body and do what feels good for you. We're going to do a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to prepare to transition to our warrior two on the opposite side of the body. To that neutral spine, flat back position. We're going to stack the hands on the left leg. I want you to go ahead, take a big step back with your right foot. We're going to swivel or spin that foot out. Again, finding our perpendicular alignment. As you inhale, I want you to lift up nice and strong, extend those arms, and bend into that front knee to find your warrior two. Good. We want a nice long wingspan, fingertip to fingertip here. Gently pull your shoulder blades together to keep your chest nice and open. Good. Remember, equal pressure between the 2 feet. Back leg is working and engaged as well. And we're gently pushing into the outside edge of that front foot so the knee doesn't move in towards midline. Let's hold for a couple breaths. Take a As you exhale, we're going to take that step forwards. Feet come back to hips width apart, right at the top edge of the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. Fan your arms all the way up, and this time I want you to exhale. Fold yourself all the way forwards. So go as deep as you can go. Bend your knees just a little bit if you need to. Get your fingertips down to either your feet or the floor. I want you to take a nice deep breath in, send your gaze forwards, keep your spine long. And then as you exhale, I want you to round and soften. Let your head go nice and heavy. You can even do some gentle movements for the head and the neck in this position. Maybe looking from one side to the other. Or gently moving the head like a pendulum, back and forth. Okay. An inversion like this. So great to take some pressure out of our cervical spine. So just enjoy it for the moment. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. As you continue to breathe, think about gently folding a little further forwards on that exhale. As you breathe in, see if you can lengthen out through the backs of your legs just a little more, reaching up through your hips, pressing down through your heels. Last 2 breaths. Good, wonderful. On your inhale, I want you to push up through those fingertips, maybe even come hands up the shins or onto the tops of the thighs if you need a little more height to flatten out your back. And then I want you to go ahead and hinge all the way up to your tall standing position. Arms reach towards the sky. And then we're exhaling, releasing. All right, wonderful. We're gonna continue to build just a little bit of heat in the legs here before we come down on the mat for kind of the second half of our practice today. So I'd like you to go ahead and actually come to the back edge of your mat. We're going to work on a little bit of balance here. Don't be afraid if balance isn't your thing. I'm going to give you lots of options. You can also do this series right next to a wall. So if you do feel like you need a little bit more balance support, that's okay. We work with the bodies we have today. So I want you to start out, feet are once again at hips width apart. Try to find a place out in front of you that you can look that's not moving. Anytime we can stabilize our gaze, that's always going to help with our balance a little bit as well. So keep that in mind. Just take a moment here, spread your toes out, and then push them back down into the mat. I really want you to try to use your entire foot as we work through this balance. So really think about, again, feeling that nice connection all the way from toes through the balls of the feet and then back to your heels. So we're just going to start out with a nice tree pose here. I want you to take a small step forwards through your right foot. We're going to go ahead and pick up the left foot, and we're going to turn the knee out, gently pressing our toes down to the floor against the inside of that right ankle. So this is our modified tree here, right? I don't have this foot up off of the ground. This is a great place to start if you're still working on developing a little bit of balance. So again, set your gaze forwards, relax your shoulders down. If you're feeling pretty stable in this position and you want to go a little further, we're going to just start to slide that left foot up the inside of the right leg using a little bit of a push, a nice connection to help keep ourselves stable. And if you feel like you can go a little bit further here, we're going to slide that left foot all the way up so that the heel is pressing against the inside of the thigh. We can really have that left foot anywhere we'd like it along the inside of the right leg, except we don't want to push our heel right into the knee joint. So again, look forwards, establish that balance. Last but not least, we're going to grow our branches here. Arms extending up towards the sky, thumbs rotate towards the back of the room, palms stay nice and open, shoulders and elbows are soft. We'll take 2 breaths here. And if you fall out of the balance at any point, no worries. Try to come back into it or take a breath as you need it. All right, we're going to go ahead and transition here. I want you to try to do this slowly and with intention. Arms come down. We're going to release that left foot. We're going to take a small step forwards. We're gonna shift our weight onto that left foot, and now we're gonna pick that right side up. So we're gonna start out building that progression into our full tree, just like we did on the opposite leg. So go ahead and open that knee out and away from the body. We'll start with toes gently pressing down into the floor. Remember that each side of your body is its own animal, right? It might be a little easier to balance on one side compared to the other, so just take what comes here. If you can go a little further, we're gonna move that foot up the inside of the shin. And then again, if you wanna continue to go a little further here, we're pulling that foot all the way up so that the heel can rest against the inside of the thigh above the line of your knee. Last but not least, we're gonna grow our branches here. Make sure to think about keeping your core engaged and keeping just a little bit of softness in that left knee joint. We don't wanna lock out here. We wanna use our muscles to help us stay in control. We'll take just a couple of breaths here. And then relax those shoulders down, spin the thumbs towards the back wall. Wonderful job, guys. We're gonna again transition here. Try to do it slowly and with intention. Arms release down from the sky. Right foot steps forward, small step. And we're shifting our weight back onto that side. So second balance pose here. So we're gonna start to work into our warrior three. So I'd like you to keep that left foot up and off of the floor. Begin to extend back through your left toes. Again, a modifier could be that I'm just really lightly touching those left toes down on the mat if I'm still working on developing my balance. I want you to go ahead and reach back through your fingertips. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears and really try to open that space underneath your collarbones. We're gently pulling the shoulder blades together to keep, again, everything nice and open and long. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to start to gently tip forwards. So again, you can keep back toes down if you need to, or back toes can lift. So I want you to take this movement to the depth that works for you. Remember to keep just a little bit of softness, a little bit of cushion in that front knee joint. And again, we'll hold for a couple of breaths, feeling everything down the back side of the body, engaging as we hold and breathe. And again, if you lose the balance a little bit, happens to the best of us. Just come back in and continue to hold as best you can. We've got 2 more breaths here. Again, moving with intention. We're going to tip back up nice and tall. We're going to take a step forwards with that left foot, a really small one, so we can stay on the mat here. We're going to shift the weight over, and we're going to prepare to move into that warrior three on the other side. So toes reach back, arms extend back. Again, engage through that posterior chain. Deep breath in. Knees unlocked, we're hinging forwards. Again, take this to the depth that works for you. We want to keep a nice long line all the way from the top of the head through the hips and out through those back toes. Take 2 more breaths here, again building just a little bit of heat in the legs. Excellent. Let's start to come out of this again nice and slow, hinge all the way up. Right foot is still off of the floor. We're going to take a small step forwards. All right, last balance pose here. So again, weight shifts onto that right foot. Think about keeping your torso nice and square. I want you to just start out by lifting that left knee into alignment with your hip. Good. See how this feels. And again, if this is a little bit challenging, I want you to stay here. You can use a wall or a chair, any sort of support surface that you feel you might need. If you can go a little further here, we're going to take our left hand. We're going to gently grab that left knee. I want you to start to open that leg out like a book. So imagine that you're keeping your torso nice and square forwards while pulling that leg away, feeling a nice gentle opening along the inside of the hip. Make sure that your shoulders are nice and level here. Especially if you're grabbing that knee, I don't want you to be pulled down or to the side on that side. Let's just take one more breath here. And again, we're going to try to move slowly and with intention, releasing that left foot slowly down to the floor, shifting the weight over, and finishing with our balance series on this opposite side. Soften that left knee. Let's go ahead and just lift that leg up into alignment. And again, hold here if this is what feels best for your body today. Otherwise, we're going to take that right hand, grab the knee, and we're going to open the leg away from the body. Again, stay tall, stay square. Good, continue to look forwards. Remember, staring at that unmoving space or object. It's going to help you to stay more stable in this position. Last 2 breaths. You got this, guys. All right, slowly with intention. Right leg releases to the floor. Bicycle it out here. Great job. Balance can be really sneaky, right? It doesn't always look like we're doing much when we're holding in those positions, but we're actually using quite a bit of strength in the lower body to stabilize ourselves without that other foot down on the ground. So nice job. From here, we're going to go ahead and come back to the back edge of our mat. So for the rest of our practice, we're going to really focus on doing some nice deep flexibility down on the mat here. So we're going to start out taking that fan on an inhale, arms reach up towards the sky, just to get ourselves down on the mat. As you exhale, I want you to fold all the way forwards. Again, soften your knees if you need to so your fingertips can connect. We're going to go ahead and walk ourselves out. And I just want you to drop your knees down on the mat to come through your tabletop position. All right, we're going to go ahead and step the right foot forwards. I want you to plant it right in between your 2 hands. We're going to set up fingertips on either side of the foot. This would be a great pose to use blocks in if you know that you have a little bit of trouble reaching down towards the ground without rounding your shoulders. So again, if you have blocks, feel free. You don't need them. I do want you to try to think about, again, keeping your chest lifted and your spine long. So watch out for rounding or slouching forwards as we go through these movements. We're going to push our back toes down into the mat and lift that back knee to come into our runner's lunge here. As you inhale, I want you to gently push your bottom up towards the sky. Imagine that you're trying to make a nice triangle shape with your 2 legs. As you exhale, I want you to sink down towards the mat, reach back through that back heel, push forwards through your front knee. Stretch out that back hip flexor, feels so good. We're going to inhale and push up. Then we're going to exhale and sink down. And again, this is a nice dynamic part of the flow here. We want to try to deepen the sensation, deepen the movements. A little bit each time we go through them. Inhaling, lifting. And exhaling, sinking. Good. Inhaling, lifting. And exhaling and sinking. We're going to do just one more like that. Nice deep breath in. Lift those hips. Again, reach. And then exhale, sink down. Good. We'll hold here just for a couple more breaths. Again, really stretch back through your heel. Check in with your shoulders, make sure they're peeling down away from your ears. And that your chest is nice and open. Good, I want you to go ahead and release that back knee down to the mat. I want you to flip your foot so the top of your foot is gently pressing into the mat surface. We're going to take our outside hand and move it to the inside of the foot as we prepare to come into a lizard lunge here. Spread your fingers nice and wide, drop your shoulders out of your ears, and soften your elbows just a little bit. I want you to go ahead and begin to push that right knee out and away from the side of your body, rolling onto the outside edge of your right foot. And again, just breathe into it here. Good. Every time you breathe in, Think length through your spine. Pushing forwards to the top of your head. Reaching back through your tailbone and grounding that back knee into the mat behind you. As you exhale, maybe you can start to sink just a little lower here, bending the elbows to find a little more depth in your position. Maybe you can even come down forearms. I am not there today, but don't let that stop you. Again, if you've got a little more room to go here, drop all the way down. This could be another great position to enhance with a block. If you're somewhere in between palms and forearms on the floor, they could go right underneath your forearms and give you just that little bit of extra height. If this version of the posture feels good for you, you are welcome to stay here. If you want to explore slightly different variation, we're going to go ahead and start to turn the chest and shoulders towards that right inside of the thigh. I'm going to take my right hand and gently press against the inside of that right knee, and I'm going to add a little rotation here. So again, I want you to push that bottom shoulder forwards. Really try to turn through your spine as you continue to hold in this lizard lunge. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. Last breath. Excellent. We're gonna roll back into center here. Knee pulls in, back in towards the rib cage. We'll go ahead and move through our runner's lunge here. So we're gonna push those back toes down, lift your back knee. I want you to step back through your plank. And then go ahead, push right into a downward facing dog. Let your heels release down towards the floor. Gently push your chest towards your thighs. Spin your elbows back. I want you to feel your shoulder blades really hugging against the back of your rib cage here. Shoulders should be peeling away from the ears still, even with arms in this position. We'll take just one more breath here, and then we're going to roll back through our table and work into that little flow on the other side of the body. So when you're ready, start to shift forwards. Again, knees release down to the mat as we come through our table. We're gonna go ahead and step the left foot forwards, big step, right in between the two hands. Set those fingertips upward and use your blocks if you have them. Don't worry if you don't. Shoulders relax down and back. Let's come right into our runner's lunge here. So back toes push down, knee lifts, we're extending through the heel. We're gonna inhale and find that little tent. Again, lift up through the hips, straighten the legs, push through those back toes. And then as you exhale, sink, reach through that back heel, push the front knee forwards. Again, you choose your depth here, but I want you to feel that sensation. Inhale and lift. And exhale, sink down. Good, inhale and lift. Exhale, sink it down. Good, inhale and lift. Exhale, sink it down. And let's just do one more like that, and then we'll hold in that exhale position for just a couple of extra breaths. So again, find yourself here. Check in with your alignment. Shoulders down, spine is long. Press those hips towards the earth. Wonderful. Let's start to transition into that lizard lunge. We're going to release that back knee down to the mat. Flip your foot. Tops of the toes press down in the mat surface. Left hand comes in. Both hands are to the inside. of that front leg. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Drop your shoulders down and back. And then let's go ahead and push that left knee out and away from the side of your rib cage. Whew. Remember, each side of your body can feel like its own animal. So just go to the depth that feels good here. And remember, you can sink as low as you feel comfortable to do. You can stay with nice straight arms here. You can start to bend the elbows just a little bit to get lower. Or again, maybe you're coming down to forearms either on a block or on the mat. Excellent. All right, we're gonna start to work into that variation here. Remember, it's optional if this doesn't feel good for you. Starting to turn chest and shoulders towards the inside of that left leg. Using our left hand to gently push the knee away from the body. Finding that rotation. And lengthen through your spine, reach through the top of your head. As you turn your chest and shoulders towards that left long edge of your mat. Wonderful, guys. We'll take just a couple more breaths here. Beginning to wind back to center. Knee hugs in towards the ribcage. Hands reconnect to the mat. Coming through our runner's lunge. Stepping that front foot back. And pushing right into your downward facing dog. Again, heels release towards the earth. Fingers spread wide. Elbows rotate back. Hips are lifting and reaching back. Take just a couple more breaths here. Forwards, and as you exhale, go ahead and release your knees down to the mat. Starting to transition to a seated position. Just coming down onto that mat surface as we start to wind down our practice here. So I'd like you to find an easy seated position, which could be legs extended all the way out, or if you're comfortable to do so, we're bringing legs into a cross. Again, finding your nice long, tall spine. Anchoring your bottom down into the ground. And reaching up through the top of your head. And taking just a moment here. Connecting again with your breath. Letting your mind go quiet. Closing out our practice today, one of my favorite ways with a nice deep cleansing breath. So you're welcome to keep your palms on your legs or to press your palms together at heart center if you'd like. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. I want you to take as much breath in as you can. As you exhale, I want you to sigh it out. Good, let that breath go. With that breath, try to let any tension remaining in your body, any worries that are on your mind, any stress you're holding on to, try to just let it out. We're going to do that again. Take a nice big deep breath in again. Fill your ribs, fill your belly. And then exhale. Sigh it out. Let's do that one more time, really letting go of anything we don't need to hold on to anymore. Pull that breath in. Exhale. Let it out. The light inside of me honors the light inside of you. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for taking just a little bit of time today for you and to join me for this nice relaxing practice. Always love your feedback, so if you jumped in today, we'll love to see you leave a comment or a like or give us a share from the virtual wellness page at the Granite YMCA. I hope you have the happiest of holidays, and I will see you on the flip side. Have a wonderful day, guys.